Okay, here we are. It's a good day for some grafting, and we are going to graft this vine, and here's Ed to tell us what he's going to do.
So this, we're going to change the variety of this grapevine. This particular one is actually rootstock that's grown up way beyond where it should have grown. Probably it was a rootstock that was planted, and we didn't know about it when the crew came through. They just trained it like they've been training the Pinot that's in this area. So this whole block is Pinot Noir. All the other plants are Pinot Noir. So what we're going to do is change this variety from this North American grapevine variety up here on top to Pinot Noir. And we've got some buds that are the same clone as the Pinot that's in this area, which happens to be, in this case, 114. And there are a number of different reasons why you would graft, but basically all of them involve changing the variety within a family, like within the grape family, from one variety to another. And so that's what we're doing here. Lots of times whole vineyards might be, or blocks of vineyards might be budded over, all the plants changed over from, say, Pinot Noir to Zinfandel or Chardonnay, some other variety that the vineyard owner wants to do. So, first thing we need to do is to prepare the plant, and so what we're going to do is cut off the plant up here at the top. Now we could, and we're going to put buds up here near the top. The reason for that is to take advantage of this trunk that's already been grown and not have to grow all the way from the ground up to the cordon wire. So now the shoots can start up here and just go ahead and form the new cordon. So we'll start by just cutting that completely off like that. And then extracting it from the wire sometimes is difficult. Sometimes we need to cut foliage off so that we can get out from around it. This was actually twisted on the wire. All of these tendrils on all the shoots get wound around the wires. It makes the plant really strong and hard to pull off.
And this is what's left. Just the trunk.
Okay, so the next step is to come down here. So now that we've cut this off, it's starting to get a little moist up here because the plant has a very extensive root system down in the ground that is collecting water and nutrients and creating a hydraulic pressure, a positive pressure that feeds this fluid up through the plant. And in a normal plant, all of that fluid winds up transpiring as water vapor out the bottoms of the leaves through the little stomata openings. But this plant, of course, we just cut off all of those all of those stomata, all the leaves. And so the
And
fluid,
how much can a plant transpire?
so a plant in a week in a hot part of the season in June and July will transpire 15 gallons of water vapor out into the air.
A week or a day or
per week. And so you can see that that's a tremendous, powerful, hydraulic pressure, taking moisture out of the ground. And so with all those leaves gone, we're only going to put 2 buds in here, and the plant had, probably a couple thousand buds on it, and leaves and so forth. So what we need to do is to relieve some of this pressure. So I'm going to take a saw here and come down near the bottom and cut about 1/3 of the way into the trunk. So we're cutting through the Cambrian layer into the wood in the middle of the trunk. And I'm going to make 2 cuts, one on each side. And what that'll do is allow the moisture, the water, to drain out, a lot of it, most of it, to drain out down here. There'll still be some that's fed up through here, the parts of the trunk that I didn't cut, the water tubes that I didn't cut, will still bring fluid up to the top of the plant, but there won't be so much up at the top that the plant, or that the buds drowned. So the next thing is to find a position where we want to put the new bud. And generally I'm going to put it in this area here because I want the shoot to grow up and grow a cordon over here to the left. So what I'm going to do is just peel off some of this dead bark that's on the outside of the trunk. Get down to good fresh wood. As I cut into it, it gets lighter and lighter brown until eventually it gets almost white when you get into fresh current growth wood. And what I want to do is put actually 2 buds in here. Since I'm just doing a couple of plants today, I can take the time to put 2 buds in, and then we've got backups in case one of them doesn't work. So this, I'm just sloughing off the dead bark. Nature would slough it off eventually anyway, but we're just accelerating the process so we can get down to good wood to make our graft in. So I'm going to put 1 bud up here, I think, and 1 down here, and we'll then have two buds that hopefully at least one of them will take. Okay, the next thing is to make a cut in here so we can put the bud in. And there's several different types of grafts you can do. What we're going to do is called a T-bud. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to follow the shape of the direction of the trunk here. I'm going to make a horizontal cut about 1/8 of an inch into the Cambrian layer. I want to get through the Cambrian layer because the Cambrian layer is this area just on the outside, just inside the dead bark, and that's the active cell division growing area of the plant. And I'm going to take the Cambrian layer of this trunk and match it up with the Cambrian layer of a dormant bud, and they're going to grow together. They're going to fuse together. So anyway, so I make this horizontal cut, the top part of the T, and then I make the vertical cut like that. And I in here with my knife, and I peel back the corner of these T's like that. And then this is a piece of dormant budwood. So this was a shoot, like the green shoots that are here in the vineyard right now, last year. And then this past winter, when the plant went dormant, the leaves fell off and the green shoots turned to wood. They lignified. And these are dormant buds that were formed last year. And this budwood was kept in a refrigerator all winter until I got it just recently. And of course I keep it in my refrigerator to keep it alive and dormant, not growing. So I'm going to start by, first of all, I've got this oriented up. You can see how the buds kind of go at a 45-degree angle. That's up. If it was like this, that would be upside down. So I want the bud to be in the right orientation. And what I'm going to do is just cut right here on the top of the bud, just above the bud, and make a square cut there. Then I'm going to take my grafting knife and I'm going to slice a chip, this chip of wood out with the bud on it. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going about 1/3 of the way through the diameter of the and so now we've got, this is the back side of the bud. You can see the Cambrian layer there, and you can see the wood is green. That means that it's alive. This bud is actually pushed or swollen. It hasn't quite pushed yet, but it's swollen. And so we're going to orient it, and this flat part is going to go, we're going to snap it down so that it's just below this T. So I just slip it behind these the ears of the and just carefully slip it down so that it's staying Cambrian layer to Cambrian layer. Once I get it down even with that T, then it kind of snaps into place. And then these corners that I peeled out from the trunk can go back. And then the last step is to wrap it with tape. So this is just tape without any adhesive on it. It's just plastic tape, and it stretches, which is important because we want the tape to be tight. We want to press these Cambrian layers together. So we want that bud pressed tightly into the Cambrian layer of the trunk. And so as I wrap this, I'm stretching the tape, pulling it tight, and I'm wrapping it in a way so that I crisscross around the bud so that the bud is sticking through, but all the rest of the cuts that I've made are being sealed off with the tape. You really only need about 2 layers of tape total. I probably got more here than I need, but you want it to be good and sealed. Pull it tight like that. Now I'm going to put another one down here lower.